Hey, Jamsters. Thanks again for pressing play. And welcome once again to another edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast, brought to you by the BLEAV Podcast Network and sponsored by FanDuel. Needed 30 points from Devin Booker tonight. Combine that with Colin Gillespie assists. Could have worked out nicely. Didn't work out nicely because Devin Booker ended with 27, which happens to be the amount of points the Phoenix Suns scored in the fourth quarter. The disadvantage tonight, Suns fans, the fact that they gave up 47 in the fourth quarter.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session Podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Hey, Jamsters, what's going on? Solo show tonight. Matthew's feeling a little under the weather, so I'll do my best to try to carry the torch forward and run the Suns Jam Session Podcast post-game show solo. A depressing one to try to do solo, so I will be leaning on you in the chat and those of you who are watching along live, and I thank those who are listening later. Tough loss for the Phoenix Suns, 124-122, a team that looked like they were en route to their sixth consecutive victory, ultimately gives up 47 points in the fourth quarter, gives up a 20-0 run as a part of that, and falls short for their sixth loss, 8-6 on the season. Brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
There's no Matthew, so I will ask myself a rhetorical question. Did you know that this is the 800th episode of the Suns Jam Session Podcast? 800 of these fucking things we've done. So thank you to those who've been coming along for the ride. And I guess the question I have to ask is, how much does this one hurt? How much does this one sting? And yeah, it stings, but at the same time, I feel like it's a good litmus test and it's a learning opportunity for this team. I don't know how, time will tell. 3 or 4 or 5 games down the line, we'll take a look at this game and we'll really have a better understanding on whether or not it was a positive loss, if you will, or if it was the start of something as we enter a tougher part of our schedule. Because you have to remember, up to this point, the Suns had played opposing teams that didn't have great records. So, you're sitting there, you're 8-5, you're feeling good. You look at who you beat, and you're like, okay, the Clippers aren't who we thought they were. We got blasted by the Denver Nuggets. We lost to the Golden State Warriors. We beat the Spurs, which is a good win. But outside of that, we didn't have a lot of good wins under our belt. Tonight against the Hawks, a team that is, entering with the same record, 8-5. No Kristaps Porzingis, no Trae Young, and obviously we're down Grayson Allen and Jalen Green. So it's a good opportunity to kind of understand who you are. At the same time, the Hawks are a team that is definitely long. I mean, what do they say consistently on the broadcast, right? Tallest team in the NBA, a long team, a defensively minded team, a team that likes to get out and transition and play with pace. So this team was going to pose a lot of different issues. And the Suns really, slapped them around a little bit. I mean, it was tight. The first half was tight. It was 58-57 going into the first half, and the Suns did not look good shooting-wise, but the second half happened 37-20 to open the second half. That's the point differential in the third quarter, 27-20. And you're like, okay, feeling good. Suns are going to go for 6 in a row. And then there's just that mental lapse that occurs. 20 points given up. Zachariah Richeche gets hurt. And I want to talk about that play a little bit because it's very confusing to me how that play kind of played out, if you will, and how ultimately the Suns got a tech out of that play, even though their coach was the one running up and down the court. Not so sure about that. So, yeah, how we take this loss, it's a tough one. It's not an easy one because you were up so much and because you were up 21 in the fourth quarter and because you gave up 47 in the fourth. I mean, that's really what hurts is the fact that you could have had an opportunity to put this team away and you didn't. So I'll focus. I'll pull out the burn book.
The Suns Jam Session Burn Book.
The Suns Jam Session Burn Book.
So the first thing I got to burn in my burn book is just that first quarter. I mean, you could probably say the first half shooting for the Phoenix Suns. They were 3 of 18. That's 17% from beyond the arc in the first half. Luckily for them, they had the ability to get multiple offensive rebounds. In the first half, they'd 13, but they only turned those into 10 second chance points. And that's been one of my big challenges with this team thus far this season is, yes, they are focusing on getting additional possessions, but the challenge that they are running into is they're not converting those possessions into points. And that is ultimately deflating. And we saw that in the first half. Now, to their credit, they were only up, they end up going up 1 point going into the first half. Or into halftime. So the shooting obviously has to get better. And that's something that we've kind of experienced quite often, even against the Indiana Pacers the other night, where we were up by as much as 46, is the team has challenges kind of shooting in the first quarter. They're having a hard time kind of greasing the wheels, if you will, and getting started. And it's almost like they're in a boxing match and they need to fill out the opponent and get punched in the face a couple times before they ultimately start punching back. And against good competition, they're not going to let you punch back. But obviously the burn book in this one is that fourth quarter, 47 points given up. The Atlanta Hawks go 16 of 25 from the field. That's 64%. They shoot 4 of 8 from three-point land. That's 50%. Meanwhile, the Suns, they shoot 50%. They shoot 25% from beyond the arc. But the key and the reason why they lost is they turned the ball over 5 times. And it led to 10 Atlanta points. What does that tell you? They had 5 live ball turnovers that led to the Atlanta Hawks scoring every single time the Suns turned the ball over. You can't do that. You gifted them 10 points right there. You look at fouls. The Suns had 10 personal fouls. Now, granted, there's fouling at the end of the game, so there's like 2 or 3 that might not necessarily fall into the category of personal fouls that you would put towards the stat. Still, it remains. But they had 10 personal fouls. Atlanta had 4. So the Suns' biggest nemesis in that fourth quarter was themselves. They're turning the ball over. They're fouling. And then they're handing out free points on a technical foul. Now, I don't know what exactly happened on the play with Richeche. It looked horrible. I mean, he for those of you who don't watch, on one of the meant multiple turnovers in the fourth quarter by the Phoenix Suns, Zachariah Richeche picks the pocket of Colin Gillespie. He's going down. He dunks. He hangs on the rib too long, and then he slips, and he does like a full cartwheel. It almost looks like he lands on his neck. It's probably his back and his shoulder, but he's down on the floor. The Suns inbound the ball real quick, and they start running down a possession. I get it. It's unfortunate that it looked like it appeared to be injured on the play, but the Suns saw a 5-on-4 opportunity, so they took it. And what happens? They're running down the floor, and Quinn Snyder, head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, is on the court running around screaming because he wants, an opportunity to go take a look at his player who just got injured. And so the officials call a timeout. Zachariah Richeche is 10-2. He walks off the court. He's fine. All extremities working and everything. And apparently during that, Dylan Brooks was probably asking the officials the same thing. It's like, hey, why'd you stop our possession? Like, they stop us or we score, then they can call a timeout, check on him. So he got teed up, and we gave him a free point. So that I will not understand, but that was part of a turning point of that fourth quarter. The Suns unraveled from there, and that obviously, again, is something you can't do. And if you want to be a good team, hell, you want to be a great team, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to stay locked in. You have to stay locked in as a player throughout that entire fourth quarter. And defensively, you have to be better. I mean, in that fourth quarter, Nickeil Alexander-Walker plays all 12 minutes. He's 5 of 8 from the field. He scores 16 points, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Devin Booker did what he could, 13 points. Like I said, FanDuel, I had a parlay going with him. You can take a couple guys, put them together, get some good odds. I had Devin Booker over 30 points and Colin Gillespie over 4 assists or over 5 assists. He crushed that. And Devin Booker did everything he could, but ultimately, the team didn't have enough opportunities because they kept shooting themselves in the foot. And so this has to be okay. So D is saying in the chat that the Hawks fouled to stop the play. I just didn't see it. I just know that their head coach was like on the 3-point line, and that should have been a technical foul. Just my 2 cents. Again, this is a team that's gonna be scrappy, and they were scrappy tonight, man. I mean, again, that first half was back and forth. It was highly entertaining. That third quarter was unbelievably exhilarating to see them diving all over the court, getting extra possessions that way. But to lose in a manner like this, it's something that you hope the team can simply just compartmentalize and move on. And they got the Trailblazers. I believe that's who they have next. That's what you need to focus on. And you got to compartmentalize this and then move on, because it's not easy, because these are tough losses. And for a team that's going to fight and scratch and claw for every victory this year, these are games that ultimately you have to win. Other things in the burn book, the Hawks uniforms, I'm just going to throw it out there. They're basic as shit. I announced the other day that I had read on Twitter that they're going to have new uniforms in a couple of years. They applied to get new uniforms. They're going to wear kind of what like Trae Young was wearing, the old Hawks with the bird across the chest. And I think they have more personality to them, because this team, their uniform simply doesn't have any personality. All right, let's look at some of the chat. I've been talking too much. I need to take a breath, and I'm pissed because I didn't bring my water in here with me, or a beer, or anything. Let's see. Los Suns, just because you foul doesn't allow you to run across the floor. Should have been a tech. I agree. I feel like, and then we gave up a point somehow for trying to point that out. And I see a lot of the comments. People are just well, that hurt from Saintful. Yeah, it did. Up by 20, let it slip away from Michael Evans. Yeah, we did. Aussie Suns fans. Yeah, still enjoying watching the moments this team are giving us, but that is a bad one to let slip. And I think that's the thing that we have to kind of take away from this game.
Tell me the
Right side.
Side on this one. This was a highly entertaining game, man. This was a fun game. Yeah, it sucks to lose these games, but it was a highly entertaining game. This team fought. Colin Gillespie, man. I mean, this guy was diving all over the court, trying to make things happen.
Your villain junior is Colin Gillespie.
And
Gillespie. I mean, Gillespie ends up playing 31 minutes. He's 5 of 13 from the field, only 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. But he has 15 points. He has 8 assists. He has 9 rebounds. He has 2 steals. That one play where he dove for the ball, threw it back underneath the basket. Jordan Goodwin grabs the ball, puts it up for a layup that turned into an and one. I mean, that was the best play of the night. And those are the moments that this team is giving us right now. Yes, a loss sucks, and it's hard to sit here and go through a lot of the notes that I had, because there were a lot of positive notes from things that I saw from this game. And Gillespie is one of those positive things. Now, one of the questions you have to ask yourself is, Grayson Allen injured, Jalen Green injured. Should Colin Gillespie be starting? Should Colin Gillespie be starting? And it's a tough one, because you take a look at his plus minus, if you will. And again, plus minus is so tough in a game, right? It's not single player dependent. He's a plus 18 in this game. And Ryan Dunn got the start. He was a minus 24. So the first instinct you have is like, well, clearly Colin Gillespie should be starting. But like, Colin Gillespie is a plus 18 because he's a product of the fact that Dylan Brooks went apeshit and haywire in that second quarter, and he happened to be the guy on the court. He wasn't affecting that overall run in the second quarter, the back end of the second quarter that put the Suns up by 1 going into the half. He wasn't ultimately affecting it that much. I mean, he played 9 minutes. He had, 9 points, so I guess he affected it enough. 3 assists. But Dylan Brooks, had 11 points and was 4 or 6 from the field and was getting technical fouls and flagrant fouls. I mean, he was stirring the pot, if you will. And Colin happened to be on the court. So I like the fact that Colin comes in with the second team to start the game. And ultimately, again, it's not about who starts. It's kind of about who finishes. And Colin definitely, he finished this game, right? And if you look at like that fourth quarter alone, he was a minus 13. So again, plus minus, it's a fickle stat. But it is something I would like to see. If Grayson's going to be out another game, hip contusion, we'll see how it's going. There's some swelling there. Took a knee in the hip. Gotta hurt like a son of a bitch. But if that's the case, if you're going to continue to have him out and Jalen Green still got, 3 to 5 weeks probably now until we have any reevaluation onto him and what his status is going to be. It'd be interesting to see him out there, but I kind of agree with D-Wig in the chat. Like, someone needs to run the bench, and that's what he does. He runs the bench squad, and you can kind of layer him in. So it's a good problem to have. And the hustle that we saw tonight from this team, it was top tier. It was, again, just the fact that the team, from the point of attack, was having a hard time executing on offense in that fourth quarter. And again, when you look at that box score, man, 47 in the fourth is just fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm trying to be positive because, again, this is just like, so I'll look at it this way, Suns fans. All right, here's the best way for me to kind of look at this, I guess. 14 games. We're 8-6. 14 games last year, we were 9-5. 14 games last year, we had the highest payroll in the NBA. We had a player who was vastly underperforming and not living up to his contract, and we couldn't trade him because he had no trade clause. Last year at this time, Kevin Durant was hurt because we started 8-1 without him, and then he got injured, and then we couldn't win a game. This year, we're 8-6. We're a game worse. But how do you feel about this team? Do you feel the desperation that you felt from a season ago? Do you feel the frustration? Do you feel the emptiness? Do you feel like when the going gets tough with this team, that they have the ability to lock in and play some defense? And I know it's a tough question to ask, especially after giving up 47 points in the fourth quarter, especially when they weren't locking in. But there were some possessions there because they did hold them off at the end until the end. But they did have a few quality defensive possessions. And so the silver lining is we're not last year's team. Seth says it in the chat. That's the beauty. They play hard enough and expect enough of each other to analyze that film and fix it. That's the key. This is a learning opportunity for this team. Whereas last year's team just would have gotten blown out of the fucking arena, would have hung their heads, wouldn't have fought, wouldn't have had any attitude, and we'd all be sitting here on the post-game podcast talking about how their defense is a turnstile, how Kevin Durant scored 40 points but the team lost, and how we're running too many isolation-heavy sets, and we're matadors on defense. So, yeah, it sucks. It sucks to see this score below me, right? It sucks to see this. But at the same time, I feel like as we walk away frustrated with our fists clenched, not tightly, but we know we let one get away. But we know that this team is going to come out with fire and intensity going into the next game. Another bright side on this for this game.
Dylan, the villain.
I continue to be surprised by this guy offensively, man. 14 of 25, 34 points. He was 3-7 from deep. He had 6 rebounds. He had 1 assist. He had 3 steals. He was just the complete and utter fuck shit up guy tonight, right? Like, he was complete positive havoc in that second quarter. right? Because we were down 13 at one point in this game in the second quarter. And he had that and one play on Dyson Daniels where Dyson Daniels tried to draw the charge. He actually goes back and he hits Okongwu, I think it was, in the leg. It looked like Dyson Daniels got concussed. Quinn unsuccessfully uses his challenge on it. And then like 2 plays later, he takes an elbow right to the chin to draw a flagrant foul off Johnson. And I mean, what he does offensively, it might not be pretty, but it's effective. And trust me, there's plenty on the subreddit stakeout about who he was. And Greg is right in the chat. Dylan carried us tonight. Dylan carried us. CL Oracle says Dylan is the heart and soul of our team. He brings the energy out in everyone. 100%. David, defensive menace. 100%. And so what we saw tonight, again, the good with the bad, right? Him getting the technical foul after that whole weird debacle with the Zachariah Richeche injury creates just kind of the entire picture of Dylan Brooks. But I had to give him a shout out. He was just absolutely spectacular in this one. Again, 34 points for him. 34. That's consecutive games over 30 points for Dylan fucking Brooks. I'm liking it. We win this game if Booker and Royce aren't a combined 1 from 11 from 3, by the way. 100% correct. This team was like 1 of 12 from beyond the arc, or 1 of 13 in the first quarter. Just couldn't. And by percentage, 5th best shooting team in the NBA from beyond the arc. There's 10 different ways they could win this game. We happen to go down the timeline where they didn't, which is unfortunate. Who else looked good in this game? Jordan Goodwin, man. He continues to amaze me, too.
Where's my dog?
Jordan Dog wins.
There's my dog.
I know that Colin Gillespie is Villain Jr., but like Jordan Goodwin could probably be Villain Jr. too, right? The way that he plays. He's got that chip on his shoulder. He was 6 of 9 from the field. Giggity. 14 points. He had 7 rebounds. He had a couple assists. Look good. Had a steal as well. He had the play again, which was the and one that kind of was the exclamation point on the Colin Gillespie diving out of bounds play where everybody had given up on the play. And I know that there were the people who were really upset when Jared Butler was let go a month ago. I want to hug those people. Like, to get that upset about Jared Butler being cut, like, wow, man, you really give a shit about the 16th guy on the team. But Jordan Goodwin is absolutely worth his weight in gold. He's still on an unguaranteed contract. It becomes fully guaranteed in January. And he's so much more mature in this go-round. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous because he was with the team a couple seasons ago before ending up with the Lakers. And we'd see him come out there and play, and there was just not a maturity in his game. It's hard to describe what that means. But you know it when you see it. Somebody who just has control and confidence, and his handle's a little bit better than I remembered, at least. And the way that he has a simple maturity about him, like he's matured as a player. If I say matured one more time, I get a free Coke when I order a Taco Bell tomorrow. So mature. I will say that I got to get everything ready here because the subreddit, obviously, for this game was it was popping.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session stakeout. Brought to you by NettlesAir.com. Whenever you say, "Where is she?" go to NettlesAir.com and you'll find out where she is. Not true. It'd be funny if it was true, but it's not true. So I was on the subreddit for the Atlanta Hawks tonight, and this is a team you got to remember, very, very similar to Phoenix, right? Very similar to Phoenix. They're a team that is entered the game 8-5. They're a team that's dealing with their injuries. They're a team that is not probably getting a lot of national credit. And their team, if you remember post preseason, a team I really liked. They got Jalen Johnson, who's playing fantastic and continuing to mature. A lot of Johnson jokes in this one. That our Johnson is so hard, which is funny. Me, couldn't help but laugh because at the end of the day, I might be 43, but I'm really 16. I feel like Asa is going to get bullied by Brooks. So they were literally talking about who is Dylan Brooks going to bully in this game. And it kind of being Jalen Johnson, but Asa Newell's who they initially chose for that because he's a rookie. Richards has out-rebounded us his whole career. Got to remember he played at Charlotte. They know who Nick Richards is very well. These refs chug. It's a great line. They chug. Even the calls in our favor are loopy as fuck. And then there was the Dylan Brooks saga in the second quarter, as I mentioned. The and one, the flagrant foul being called on Jalen Johnson when he elbowed Dylan Brooks. Every shot Dylan Brooks takes looks difficult. Dylan Brooks with continuation 10 years after the foul. So it's fuck Dylan Brooks forever then. Followed by fuck Dylan Brooks. I do enjoy watching Brooks get elbowed in the face, but damn, Jalen. I wish Jalen broke Brooks's jaw. Dylan Brooks is punking us. I hate Dylan Brooks as a person. Could be a good guy and all. I just don't like him. I will not expect a reality where Dylan Brooks is Michael Jordan 2.0. And then, the people watching the broadcast online saw the fact that Matt Rife is coming to Phoenix soon. Damn, I feel bad for the Phoenix Arena staff. They got to deal with Matt Rife soon. I'm not a big Matt Rife guy. Thought he was kind of funny here and there, but a lot of crowd work. Too much apologizing before a joke begins. Dude, just live on one side of the joke, man. That Gillespie sure is scrappy. A real gym rat kind of player. Deceptively fast, too. Jesus, this Suns team plays hard as fuck. I'll give them that. And we face a good defense and can't even score. Which goes to show you that despite a loss tonight, the Suns are still kind of out there developing a reputation of being a scrappy squad that plays hard as fuck. Where is she?
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Nothing like a good subreddit. It was a good subreddit night. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks fan base. Sometimes you go into those subreddits, man, and either they're lame or not good basketball observations. They're very similar than we are as a team. Although I say that they're probably a little bit younger and longer than we are, but they're a scrappy team. We played a scrappy team. We almost played a Spider-Man meme of the Suns, I feel like, in the Eastern Conference. Because without Trae Young out there, right, this is a different team. They're not consumed by his shot diet, and they're not solely dependent on what he can provide. And so they have to try to beat you with hustle and grit and length, and that's what they did. Again, the Suns, 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter that led to 10 points. You can't do that. But you got to credit Atlanta because they were right up there doing the same shit that we do, batting the ball around, trying to disrupt. And that's ultimately how we lost this game. All right, let's hand out some hardware.
Jam Star of the Game.
Hey, Jamster, subscribe, rate, review, hit that thumbs up button, and let people know about the podcast. If you have friends who are Suns fans and you haven't told them about the podcast, are you even really friends with them? I think this one goes to Dylan Brooks tonight. He was everywhere. It was kind of a disappointing Devin Booker night, in my opinion, simply because you really didn't feel his presence in this one. I mean, he came on late. Like I said, he had 13 points in the fourth quarter. But overall, he had 27 points. He was 10 of 23 to get those. 0 of 6 from beyond the arc. So, I mean, that's Dyson Daniels doing his job. That's what Dyson Daniels does, is he locks up your opposing guy. And shame on me. I shouldn't have bet on Devin Booker scoring 30 points against the Atlanta Hawks because I should have thought about Dyson Daniels. So when you're going on FanDuel and you're making your bets, be smart. Think about the matchups. Take a look at a couple box scores. Don't just blindly throw your money away. And, Ozzy Suns fan says it. Book struggled, right? So he gives it to Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, Jam Star. Love that mother flower from CL Oracle. Seth Logan Hopkins says, Brooks, take the good and the bad. It's 100% right. Dylan Brooker for the scoring from John Tran. Good to see you in the chat, John Tran. So I mean, just that's the way it goes. In war we're shat upon, though we die, resistance lives on. Up next for the Phoenix Suns. All right, next game is what? Tuesday, right? Tuesday at Portland. 9. This is an NBC game. We got an NBC game, fam. Holy shit! Is 9 o'clock start time real? Or is that ESPN fucking with me? Oh, no, it better not be a 9 p.m. start right now. I got to look at like another source. Can anybody confirm the start time in Arizona for this game? If not, I'm going to go to my Google Sheets right now and look at one of my sheets on Google and tell myself what that start time is. Hopefully it's 7. 9 p.m. Fuck me, dude. On a Tuesday? Oh, Peacock game. Yep. So it's 9 p.m. That means it's not going to start till 9:30. 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay. Well, we might not do a post-game pod on Tuesday. Just letting you know. That's fucking late, dude. If it's a Friday or a Saturday, I can do it. But like a Tuesday, I have work in the morning. I'll tell you one thing that's you might not know this, but I'm going to pull the curtain behind. I think one of the hardest things about doing the podcast is it activates you. All right. What does Kenny Dillingham say for the Arizona State Sun Devils? Activate the valley. Doing a podcast activates your mind, and it's hard to turn it off, right? It's not like I get an adrenaline rush from doing this, but I definitely, it's hard to turn off. I'm talking, I'm thinking, I'm putting my thoughts out there. I'm trying to articulate them. And then once the podcast is done, I'll typically write an article for Bright Side of the Sun, which is like our Jam Star. It's the Bright Side Baller for the next morning. So our readers, first thing when they wake up, they can kind of get my quick thoughts on the game and then vote on who they think the player of the game was. And then I try to go to bed, but it's really hard to go to bed because like I've been talking, I've been engaged, and it's hard to kind of come down from that for a while. So a 9 o'clock game means an 11:15 start time. I'm not going to be done till 1 a.m. Fuck me running backwards through a cornfield. All right, well, let's talk about Portland. The Portland Trail Blazers, a team that is currently 6-6. I don't know if they played tonight. They did. They played at Dallas. I don't know what the final score of that was, but I can find it out because I have the internet in front of me, and the internet has things. NBA.com, by the way, was like one of the first websites I ever visited when I first, like, I remember going to my mom's office in like 1996. She worked at a bank, and she let me come in and look, and it was like, take your kid to work day or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I want to look at the internet. And the first thing I did is I went to NBA.com. And then I think I clicked on Playboy.com. I'm like, oh, what's this look like? She probably got in trouble for that. I should ask her about that. Mavericks beat the Trailblazers. So they're 6-6. Oh, dude. So we're playing a team that's, you guessed it, 6-7. And let's see, Portland. I feel like they started hot, didn't they? Yeah, I mean, they started 4-2. And now they've lost, they've lost 4 of their last 6. 4 of their last 5. So Denny Advia is somebody to obviously watch in this game. That's a guy that Matthew really likes. He's averaging 25.8 points per game. Shaden Sharp's 20.9. Jeremy Grant, 17.7. He's purely coming off the bench. It's a team that's going to have size. Tumani Kamara, obviously, he's getting the starts there. Second team all defense last season. A team that has some size, just like what we play tonight. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Don't know if I could predict this one. I want the Suns to win. We need the Suns to win. 9 o'clock. Fuck me. All right. Did I grab a different hat? I grabbed a different hat when I came back on, didn't I? Yeah. It's the little things. Well, I will say, we'll see. We'll see if we have a pod on Tuesday. but we'll enjoy the game. We'll be watching. And I will say thank you everybody for supporting us. Johnny Dang in the chat, $5 in the super chat. Congrats on 800 episodes voided. Thank you guys for being along for this ride. 800. This is our 800th episode, Jamsters. 800. We started this thing 6 years ago. We're psychos as much as we do it. But we appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate the support. And we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Let's see. Hopefully the Suns can learn from this, bounce right back, take on Portland. Because once they're done playing Portland, then we start to get in kind of the schedule tightens. We got Minnesota at home. We got San Antonio at home. We got Houston at home. We go to Sacramento. We got OKC, Denver, the Lakers, Houston, Minnesota, Golden State, Lakers. That's a run right there. That takes us all the way to Christmas. It's going to be, we're going to go back to December all the time. So, yeah, we'll see you. Maybe we'll see you Tuesday. Go home and love your family.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.